Yo! Welcome back to Brinth Lab, where we turn obstacles into opportunities and anxiety into strength. This is actually part 2 of a series we're doing about how anxiety is a habit. If you haven't seen part 1, you can watch that here. That video lays the foundation for what we're going to discuss today, which is if anxiety is a habit, then how do you break it?
Kevin, watch the light, dude.
We'll dive into specific tools, spiritual practices, and methods to help you break out of anxious patterns. By the end of this video, you'll be able to better recognize your anxious thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and start to change them. So to start, if anxiety is in fact a habit, how did we develop that habit? So let's go back to this cycle that we discussed last time. Firstly, you have an experience. If that experience is powerful enough, it will invoke certain emotions. Emotions naturally bring about certain thoughts and thinking, and if you carry those thoughts and emotions with you for long enough, that will lead you to come to a conclusion. If that conclusion solidifies, it becomes part of your identity. And then with that identification, your personality becomes your personal reality. Your personality or your personal reality becomes how you see, think about, feel about, and interface with the world. Now, if we really want to understand how anxiety fits into this cycle and how it becomes part of our identity, then we need to expand upon this a little bit. So the truth is, as time goes on, we can't look at this as simply as a cycle, because in reality, your emotions can inform a conclusion. Your experience can inform your thinking. Your experience can inform a conclusion, and so on, and so on, and so on, to the point where maybe it's more appropriate to actually view this instead of as a cycle, as a web. So I actually love this analogy of it being a web, because there's this idea that you're sort of stuck on it. It doesn't just apply to anxiety, right? If you're feeling good or you're happy, then your happy thoughts inform your happy emotions. Your happy emotions inform happy conclusions, and so on and so on. So if you are habitually an anxious person, it's because you're stuck on this web of anxiety. You're a cute little baby anxious spider, and you're stuck on the anxiety web. I get it, I've been there. So the question becomes, how do you get off of the web? So one thing to remember is that if you're feeling anxious or afraid, your thoughts are not going to serve you. You're not going to be able to think or analyze your way out of anxiety. You have to get out of the emotion first. I want to go back to an insight from Dr. Joe Dispenza. When you analyze yourself or your life within a disturbing emotion, you drive your brain further out of balance. In a sense, you are thinking in the past because an emotion is a record of the past. The solution could never be there. This means that when we're caught in an anxious state, trying to think our way out only reinforces the habit. Instead, we need to change our emotional state to see the situation from a higher level of consciousness. So if you are feeling anxious or afraid, please don't just sit and ruminate. Here are a few things you could try. Get up and move or exercise. Engage in physical activity that brings you joy. Change your physiology, as in walk, talk, and stand like someone who is calm and brave. Look at a picture of someone you love. Call someone that makes you laugh. Listen to a song you like. Brain dump. In other words, journal everything you are thinking and feeling. Think practically. What is this fear actually doing for you? Practice thought flipping. So if you're thinking, what if my boss thinks I suck? Try to flip that to, what if my boss thinks I'm the best employee? Or you can visualize your favorite places. These exercises can help shift your emotional state from a bad to a better place and access a clearer mind. Remember, I'm always here to give you as many tools as I can, but part of your journey is going to be putting together your toolbox and finding out what works best for you. Okay, so we've implemented some awareness to realize we're on this anxious web, and we've used some methods to get us out of this emotional state and get us off of the web. So now the question becomes, what can we utilize in our toolbox to make sure we stay off of the web? I want to start with 2 thought processes that I found in a book called Awareness by Anthony DeMello. It is an absolutely remarkable book that can be a great asset to anxiety management. I made a whole video about it, which you can watch here. So the first process I want you to implement when something is causing you pain, worry, or anxiety Firstly, can you pick up on a desire under your suffering? Is there something you desire very keenly or else you wouldn't be suffering? What is that desire? Secondly, see that it isn't simply a desire. There's an identification there. You have somehow said to yourself, the well-being of myself, almost the existence of myself, is tied up with this desire. And lastly, understand all suffering is caused by identifying myself with something, whether that something is within me or outside of me. That process is not just going to help alleviate some anxiety, it's going to help you to better understand your desires and maintain a healthy relationship with them. The second thought process can really be done at any time and is going to help yield a higher level of self-understanding. Anthony DeMello calls this the 4 steps to wisdom. So firstly, I want you to identify or become aware of the negative feelings inside of you. Once you've done that, I want you to understand the feeling is in you, not in the world. It's not an external reality. In other words, nothing has to change outside of you. This can't really hurt you. Thirdly, do not see these feelings as an essential part of your I or yourself. These things come and go. It will pass. And lastly, understand that when you change, everything changes. We think, I feel bad because the world is bad, but this is incorrect. The world is bad because you feel bad. If you felt good, the world would be good. Gang, I feel like this is simple and self-evident. Think back to a time where you felt good. The world seemed like a great place, didn't it? By contrast, maybe now if you don't feel so great, you feel like the world is not a good place. But that's not true. It's inside of you. Okay, so we've recognized we're on this anxious web. We've implemented some emotional tools to get off of the web. And then we've reframed our thinking in order to ensure that we stay off of the web. Well, now I want to add some more tools to your toolbox to ensure that over a longer period of time, you can fully break the habit of anxiety. So firstly, there is the great tool of awareness. Practice awareness by observing your thoughts without judgment. Notice when anxious thoughts arise, acknowledge them, and let them pass without getting attached. Then there's one of my personal favorites, journaling. Journaling can be a powerful tool for breaking the habit of anxiety. By writing down your thoughts, you externalize them, making it easier to see them objectively and release them. And there's gratitude practice. Shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right. Start a daily gratitude practice to train your mind to look for positives rather than dwell on negatives. When you focus on gratitude, you're rewiring your brain to reduce anxiety and increase happiness. Try visualization and affirmations. Visualize yourself overcoming anxiety and living with confidence and peace. Combine this with affirmations that reinforce your new self-image, such as, I am calm, I am in control, I am free from anxiety. Also try letting go of attachments. As Anthony DeMello teaches, attachments to things, people, and ideas are a major source of suffering. Practice letting go by recognizing that these attachments are illusions, and true peace comes from within. Lastly, live in the present. Commit to living in the present moment. When you find yourself slipping into anxiety, bring your attention back to what's happening right now. This simple practice can ground you and dissolve anxious thoughts. So gang, let's review these 3 steps. Firstly, recognize and understand when you are on the web of anxiety. Next, love yourself and do what you must to feel better and get off of the web. Then once you are off of the web, build up and customize your toolbox to make sure that you stay off. I hope in this video we got your toolbox off to a great start. But remember, the fun is the journey. Create a toolbox that works for you. These practices have been instrumental in my own journey to overcoming anxiety. Remember, it's not about overthinking, analysis, or complexity. It's actually about simplicity, patience, self-love, gradualness, and commitment to the process. Start integrating these tools into your daily routine and let me know how they're working for you. Here at Brinth Lab, we combine physical fitness, mental health, and spiritual principles to help you overcome anxiety and lead a more fulfilling life. Think of us like your personal trainers for anxiety. We can connect, we can coach you, and we look forward to getting to know you and walking this path together. Remember, pleasant experiences make life delightful, but painful experiences lead to growth. I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong and keep experimenting.